It's just unhinged, desperate Luthen.
I'm drowning.
I'm drowning. I will burn. Hardest quote intro we've ever done.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
yeah. So I'll try
Welcome
that. That's a
back
cool
to
trick.
the Star Wars.
What's he doing?
He sounds muffled. I can't hear him.
Oh, the uniform.
Podcasts are not for the same.
Aren't you a little short for a clone trooper?
Can't
Oh, the
breathe in that
uniform.
thing. Welcome
uniform.
back to the Star Wars Guys podcast. We are really excited to get into this one. Andor Season 2. We haven't had a chance to talk through
Buckle up.
any of the episodes
4
yet.
hours,
So
5 hours.
We thought 3 episodes to cover was not enough. Let's wait till
Let's
there's
do it.
6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we'll start talking.
Then we'll talk
yeah,
about
we'll
it.
do
Then we'll
6.
talk.
Then we'll do 6.
Then we'll
and
talk about it.
You'll give us 66.
episodes, Kathy, and then we'll
And then we'll do some.
I don't know what that's.
Kathy.
That was like almost a soprano, but wasn't. I'm not sure what that
But
was.
yeah, we're excited to discuss Andor.
Yeah, lots to
Andor.
talk about.
A lot to talk about. There's a lot going on, and we're just gonna dive into it. There's so much to get to, so we'll just start, I guess, from the
We'll
beginning. We'll try to keep it on maybe the arcs,
We'll try to keep it on the
3
arcs,
episode arcs,
and
so arc 1,
or
arc 2, and or
we'll do whatever we want because that's usually what we do.
that is
Anything.
usually what we
Yeah.
do.
But we like to start with usual first overall reactions. We have
thoughts.
2 episodes, so feel free to say,
Two
this
we-
is my 2
2
weeks.
chunks.
2 chunks,
2
2 parts.
2 bites. 2
BBY4 and BBY3. We love
BBY. Make BBY great again.
Make
do.
Yavin great.
Yavin.
So
Yeah.
overall thoughts, Nate, Uncle, who wants to kick off the
Go, Nate.
Andor
Overall
discussion? Give me some Andor answers.
Andor.
I am
assumption.
loving the show. It's pretty much what I expected, with probably and some
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
Does that work? And more
And
instead
more.
of Andor, and more. It's like if season 1 had even more intentionality, like than it already did, with dialogue and directing of scenes playing out, and we can get into those finer details, but about specifics. But overall, it's just the begin. I think season 1 was a little more like hope driven and optimistic, of like, we're getting this rebellion actually started.
Mhm.
Like, they're not really facing a lot of confrontation or backlash, at like a lot of conflict,
Mhm.
because they're not really known yet. But now they're known. Now things are getting serious, and we see Luthen and others with their backs against the ropes, and it's going down. So I'm loving it.
Where do you start? It is.
That's a good question.
It's been remarkable. On a show like this, anytime there's multiple story arcs, I always find myself thinking, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah.
Let's get back to that one.
Go back to the other
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Nope. I was
Yeah.
on the last one. I was like, "Where? I want some Mon Mothma. What is going on?
Yeah.
I know.
Get us back in here. Where's
I
some
know.
Mon?" And even though the other action stuff, it's great. I'm waiting for come on, some Mon Mothma story. It's been unbelievable.
He said the same thing. So I was talking to Taylor today. I said the same thing.
How
I said
can that-
Mon Mothma and Luthen. I could go watch.
I
just a
could
whole
watch
series of
them
just
Talk
them.
about art
I know.
for as long as art could be talked
that
about.
character
Just
arc between
Give
them
me
is
an
Amazing.
hour
so great.
straight of
Amazing.
Mon dancing at the wedding.
Amazing.
They did that.
Is it? I know.
There is one of
They
those.
released
They did
Oh,
that.
did release that.
It, I'm trying to wrap my head around the whole thing because I don't want to say what everybody else has been saying all the time because the reviews have been so good.
Mhm.
But it is it could be an example of what happens. You know, when you really love something and you get into it deep, it can be you can almost not be able to see it for what it is anymore,
Mhm.
and you begin making the thing different
Yeah.
just because you
Yeah.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it's something you're working on, a project or something. The fact that Tony Gilroy is somewhat, I won't say dispassionate, but he didn't come into this like Ryan Johnson.
No.
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 He didn't come into it with just an overwhelming desire.
Yeah.
He wanted to tell a great story, and he saw all of the great things that Star Wars has to offer.
Yeah.
And the story is driving this,
Yes.
and it's set in, this could be set in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be set in the 1960s.
It
During
could
the
be a
Cold War.
different,
Totally.
different
It def-
sci-fi.
be in a
Like, it
different
could
country.
It could be a different.
Cold War for
Completely.
sure.
Completely.
This has This
Yeah.
has a.
This could be post World War II. It could be 1960s.
This could be that show.
1980s. Anytime.
Could be Mission Impossible.
It could be that
Right.
show.
A lot of the spy stuff going
right.
on.
I've never seen it, but I've seen clips of it. It could be that show, The Americans, which was
The Americans,
which
where
was
they're
popular. I
set
feel
in a-
about the Soviet
Yeah.
spies,
Right, yeah.
Soviets,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and it's told. I think so. I also right now I'm trying to.
It's a great shot.
Again, there's so
She'll
much
coming to work.
already. We knew it'd be difficult kind of covering the show this time around because when you have 3 episodes per week per drop,
Right.
it's like, oh man, I'm trying to even remember every little moment that happened that I loved because there's so many that like we could podcast, we could probably do 5 podcasts in a row talking about the episodes we've seen and just focus on different things every single podcast and have enough material to go about it because there's so much there. I am really loving the show overall for sure. It's the detail you guys are both hitting on. I think the detail. Season 1 was obviously super detailed, and everyone has praised the writing from the start of the show, which I think it's deservedly been that way. But with such a high bar, and and we all loved Season 1, and especially even I think even as time went on, people always more and more go back to, oh yeah, but Andor was this, and just like a lot of things, when you love something. And then maybe you see some stuff, and I'm not even saying like some stuff after it like I didn't like as much. There's some stuff I really liked still that came after it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who, as time has gone on, have maybe continued to elevate the first season of Andor even higher than they did initially, just because as time goes on, you think about, man, that thing though was so good.
And you rewatch it, and you're like,
Special.
this is.
And you're like,
it really
it's
is that.
so
good. It holds
coming
up.
into this show, I had a very high expectations because I was just rewatching the first season right before it.
Yep.
But then hitting the second season and right when it starts off in the very first episode, and it drops us right into Cassian on that mission as a pilot, and getting the new TIE prototype, but he doesn't know how to fly it and all this stuff. Like immediately, I'm like, oh man, this is it already. I mean, I was watching it with my wife Abigail, and Abigail was like, oh yeah, this just feels different than not just different as like a storytelling. Like it feels like I am watching a movie.
Yes.
The way it's shot, the way it's acted, the way it's directed, the way
very
it's,
much so.
It feels like I'm watching a movie.
Huge.
Now,
the sets are large.
having said that,
Unbelievable.
just because I'm watching a movie doesn't make it great. I've seen a lot of bad movies before, so that's not all. It's hitting on so many different elements that I'm like, oh man, I like this. I like this. It has this type of storytelling. This season, even more than the other one, is getting into a little bit more. It feels like a little bit more of the, like a spy political thriller. More. I mean, the other one did. The other one had heist moments for sure, where
This
they're
is
breaking
more-
in, they're stealing.
This is espionage.
This is
Yeah.
espionage.
It is.
Don't blow. Don't
It
be
is.
found. Don't be. And again, there's some of that in season 1 for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff in the first one, but this one on multiple fronts. Whether it's the whether it's obviously the Axis storyline with Luthen and who is covering Luthen, and now Dedra's off the Luthen files, and so-and-so's on the Luthen files, and Dedra's is now with Krennic, and Krennic's pulling her into this other project, which we know what Krennic has going on later.
Yeah.
That's like
right.
what's
Beyond
starting
that,
beyond that. And so we're kind of tying, together of, who is on this and who's like, so there's those things. There's the Mon Mothma of it all, which, again, we'll get into all the details of all the story stuff. Cause right now I just feel like diving into all of it, but I'm really loving it so far, really loving it. And the exciting thing is, as much as I'm already loving it, I know from people who have already seen the show, without giving too much detail,
It only gets better.
that part 3 is the part that I heard the most people rave about. That said, it's really good, and then part 3, it blows your mind.
Man.
That's what everyone keeps saying. And
Yeah.
I didn't hear anyone say, and then part 4 is not any good. I didn't hear that. But it was like, it's really good, but wait until you get to part 3. That's what I kept hearing, so that makes me more excited. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot I want to discuss, and we'll get through a lot of this, whether it's the Bix Brasso RIP
Yeah, I was gonna say
storyline,
we're
the
starting to
Bix
see
stuff.
some. We're starting to see some.
Who have we said
some
goodbye to?
characters go out.
Yeah, I mean, let's
Give a
briefly,
quick
if we want to
montage.
briefly talk about some of the first part and then some of the second part.
Yeah.
Let's do the first part first, and we can jump around because obviously we got a lot of interesting Bic stuff this portion too.
For sure.
But obviously some of the major headlines from the first portion, Cassian being gone.
Mm-hmm.
And her missing him, and all of them like being like, when's Cassian getting back? And like already Cassian has been elevated to this like, it's okay, Cassian will save us. Like he already feels even more important than he did in the first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the first one, he had obviously
Because
a great.
He did.
He has.
Yes.
Yeah.
He came in.
He did. Yeah.
To Ferrick's unbelievable circumstances. Got through.
Yeah.
Found her. Got her out.
Yeah.
Organized the crew. At least what were left in there.
While
It's
riots and
while they burned
Which,
the place down.
by the way, is it
awesome.
not surprising at all that Gilroy is responsible for the Bourne series? Well, this is like he's Cassian is like a Jason Bourne type of.
He's not
like
sniping people yet.
He's not sniping
He was
people
going
yet.
to. And
He was going to Rogue One.
So he can.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that because there's stuff in this episode that leads us to that Rogue One moment that I've heard a couple other people even talk about
right.
how we're starting to see in this episode where Cassian and Luthen start to see the separation of Luthen would have shot Jin's father without even hesitating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And he would have told Cassian right there on the spot, you're being weak and the whole rebellion is going to be on
you.
The
go to that
blood's
part?
going to be on your because it's there. Like
right.
all that's right there.
Yep.
And and again, we'll talk about part 2, but in part 1, we started introducing Cassian as even already a more important part of the group relying on him.
Yeah.
Brasso's even like, was that Cassian? Like he's even like, when is Cassian getting back? They're obviously laying low. They have we texted a little bit in our group that first week, but I love the feel of the first one, and I love it in like a creepy evil way, but in a storytelling way.
I love it.
I love creepy and evil. No,
creepy and evil.
the feel of this oppressive, overreaching, entitled empire with its different agents and different people out there that have their, it starts with, oh no, we're just adding security here, or we're just adding this, and now we're just doing we're just here for a census. We're just here for or we're here for whatever check.
Yeah.
And then that turns into, is your husband home? And then it gets into that, which immediately for all of us who obviously know where the story is going, we know in that first line what he's saying immediately. Oh, we know where that's headed.
Yeah.
But just immediately the Empire, they've already painted the Empire in such a
arrogant.
And in such a
power hungry.
In without us just blowing up your planet, you see the weight it has on how they just take advantage of everyday people.
Oh yeah.
And not just we cheat you on your out of tax money or anything, but like literally at any moment we can just come and shut down your business and we can do whatever we want. And also if there's no other individual there to protect you, we can physically do something to you. And it's just like immediately the weight of the show, you're watching it and you're like, man, this is different, and it's really compelling. Yeah. Part 1, some overall thoughts of any of the stuff in the first part, BBY4.
Yeah, I think
we'll get to the Mothma of it all too.
I think
all that stuff.
A couple things. I think just the first mission with Cassian, I like the realism of him with the prototype tie and not actually able to just hop in and
Avenger, I believe it's
called. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
and not be able to just fly it almost like in every other.
Right.
It's like we need a pilot. I'm your pilot. Okay, and then it's all perfect. It's like it was difficult struggle, and then not to mention that was just foreshadowing what was coming right after that. Of even the whole mission was just didn't go smoothly.
That's right.
So it's. The very beginning is painting the picture for the struggle that this season is leading up to. Now, obviously, we know the end result of the rebellion and that they overcome these things. But it's showing the nitty and gritty of the continuous rise of the rebellion, but reflecting it in a way that things are becoming more and more challenging. It's almost highlighting the weight of how impossible it was that they actually end up pulling it off. Like that the rebellion actually ends up succeeding, and they're highlighting all these scenarios where this went wrong and this was such a challenge and we lost this person and we lost that person. You're watching this, and the more and more that things go wrong and things are happening and each of our main characters are struggling with this or that, you realize, like, it's so much more of a miracle than I thought it was that they even end up pulling it off and overthrowing them.
A much higher cost.
Yeah. So
For
it's
sure.
just and I think that's just the beginning part, and we'll get into some of the different character arcs, but man, it's been great. And I like the parallel of the stories. I like the we can get into this too, but the contrast between the two, like, relationships that are going on in this between Cassian and Bix, and then Dedra and Karn, and how drastically different they are.
Yep.
Whereas, like, Cassian is one who I think I was watching their interview talking about it.
Mon Mothma and her husband and their daughter.
Yeah.
It's just
But it shows like such a contrast as they jump back and forth between Cassian and Bix, who grew up in more of a community, caring for one another, us against the world, caring for one another. The community was their family and what they had.
Yep.
Versus two individuals who sought that from, at least Karn sought that from his parents, from his mom, and all he's wanted was to be notable and recognized.
Right.
Never got it. Raised in this, basically imperial children being raised, and you see just the vast differences between the relationship and how, like, weird and awkward and quirky they are versus, like, Cassian and Bix.
And
but at least they have Uncle Harlow.
I love what Dedra and Cyril are doing together. I think
I think it's fascinating.
fantastic.
It is.
Because now there's a part of me that's like, well, I don't really want them to. What if she ends up on the Death Star? I don't want that. Like, there's a part of me that likes.
I like the characters.
That she said that she won't let Mother push him around.
There's a quality.
She is
There's qualities
protecting
there.
him.
Yeah.
And he is protecting her, and they're a perfect combination. They're working to the destruction of humanity. But they love the fact that they found that connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and they're a match made in heaven.
Is there not?
Seriously,
Is there not
I don't want anything.
No,
I want
totally.
them to come around.
Yeah.
They're not going to. They're not going to.
No, you're like, it's a match made in heaven, and then I want them straight to hell.
I mean, who's happier, Mon Mothma or Dedra? I mean,
seriously. Is there not a better? Is there? I don't know if there's a better wimpier laying on a bed I've ever seen in my entire life.
So funny. There is so
By
many
the way,
funny moments.
I was watching an interview with him.
Hilarious.
I was
so
watching
funny.
From the first time he put the tie in reverse. It was like, this is great.
I was watching an interview with him, and
great.
he was explaining that scene, and they said that he was the one who came up with that. That they were
funny.
What would you
this conversation's happening in this room where she's defending you
What
and
would you
sticking
do?
it to. What would you do? Like, we need to fill this space where we need to make sense of what you're doing and why you're gone for that length of time.
And he solved it with
And
one.
he said,
It's
he
the
goes,
wimpiest,
what would I do? He goes, what would I do? He goes, I'd probably just be tired, and I'd probably just go
Fall
lay
on the
down
bed.
and just
in like the wimpiest,
and just in a way that's just like I'm dreading what is happening. Like, this is
it's so great because those two, like you said, while they found each other, they're very different personalities.
There.
Oh yeah.
Those two would never flip roles and do that same thing.
No.
He would never. He's not the. You don't talk to so and so like that. He's yes, mother. Yes, mother. Like,
Yeah.
he's in his 30s at least, and like his mom's saying, "Oh, do that, button up, do that." Uncle Harlow would have done this. Yes, I know, mother. Uncle Harlow did this. And
He is a mama's boy.
yeah. And Dedra's like,
For now.
Dedra's like, Uncle Harlow was a bum.
Right. And I know.
She's like, I looked him up, by the way.
She's so
Quit
great.
telling him all this stuff. He was a loser.
Okay, so we're talking about
That's
story
great.
arcs, right?
Yeah.
The first mission that they gave Cassian was messed up.
Yeah.
Fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second mission they gave Cassian was completely messed up.
Yep.
He saw it before and just said no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's not taking any more missions.
No, the second one he even said, keep it. Yeah, save it.
I think
I'm out.
I think he's done with Luthen. I think we now have 3 factions in the rebellion. We have Luthen, maybe 4, but we have Luthen and Mon Mothma. They're still connected.
Saw.
We have Saw and we have Cassian. Cassian is not doing what Luthen wants anymore. Now the rebellion is his own. because the Bix, they're waiting.
I was
going to
ask you
the
about
I was
that.
going to ask you, is the
jumps
Bix
like
thing
a rabbit?
from?
No.
Yes.
Is that from Luthen?
I was gonna ask. Is that they don't address it. So
don't think it
Because
is.
I thought that
is it from Luthen because they mentioned that? So here's the thing. I can see it both ways.
Yeah.
I can see it being not from Luthen and Cassian being like, "You're struggling because of this. We need to put this in the past. I'm going with you. It's
Yeah.
you and me,
Yeah.
and we're going to do
This is our rebellion.
I could see that being
We're
a
solving
scenario,
this.
but I could also see because they mention I'm not gonna do this mission like anything without you, and I think that maybe teased that Luthen was giving them another mission, and so I could also see it a little bit as Luthen recognizing Bix's struggle because he went to give her a mission and saw what was going on and realized we got to get her back in the fight. The way to do it is to go take this guy out.
Could be.
Here's your reward. Go do this.
Could be.
And take it out. 'cause
What's
we
funny
need to get
is-
you back.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
could see both, and they didn't answer it.
What's
Maybe
funny
we'll
is the
get that
first
answer.
way you
think we'll
guys
find out.
described was how I initially took it. The first way you guys both described, which was
Yeah.
I felt at first like, oh, this is without Luthen's knowledge. This is Cassian doing whatever to protect Bix, and
Striking his own blow.
them
against the
doing
Empire.
their own thing
Yeah.
together, and Luthen deal with he confronted Luthen
Yeah.
at the shop before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, whatever, and he goes and he does this to help protect
Put it all at risk.
Bix. That's how I initially took it. Then I will say so this wasn't even my original thought. I
Yeah.
had then heard when I was just listening to a couple of these reviews of some of these two different shows that read it completely differently and said that they thought Luthen gave based on the conversation, it felt like Luthen
Yeah.
gave her a mission, but that Luthen was doing it for selfish reasons, and that Luthen is like, oh, how do I get someone? Oh, we're going soft on the cause.
Mm-hmm.
I know what gets someone more invested in the cause. It's what you think is healing,
No,
but
it's doubling down.
It's revenge,
Mm.
and revenge brings you further into the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that now we're acting,
Yeah.
and that Luthen is smart enough that he's doing something that feels like a win for them. That's a win for him because it's like
To buy. That's what I'm saying.
that
to get
he's
Bix
like,
back
oh
in.
great, no, you're like, you know what? Oh, you're and like not saying that he doesn't care about them at all, but it's very demonstrated in this episode. They made it very clear that he is treating them, at least in the moment, like chess pieces.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Cassian
That's how
even
he
says
does.
that.
That's how he
Cassian
treats
even is
everyone.
like, why would you not? I was with them for hours. Why would he not tell me
Mhm.
he just came and saw you?
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah.
I mean, even like his conversation with the conversation with Mon Mothma was as telling as anything. When she says, "Oh, I'm wondering about my cousin." Oh, is there something urgent you need to tell her? And she's like, "No, I care about her."
Yeah.
And Luthen's like, "Yeah." He's
What do
like,
you mean?
"You need to contact. You need to know how she's doing. For what purpose? Like, is there something urgent?" And she's like, "No, I care about her. Is she okay?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh."
It's
Like
showing.
it doesn't even
it's-
like he's
it's
like,
showing
why would you
how-
possibly want to reach her?
Yeah.
It is. It's
It's just showing they think of them. Mon Mothma, who's even the head of the rebellion,
Right.
it thinks about this completely different
No.
the way Luthen
It's-
or Saw does.
I think it
Uh,
really is. It's highlighting. Honestly, I mean, it's funny. People bash The Last Jedi. We can't have an episode without coming back to The Last Jedi.
Right.
But Rose's line of The Last Jedi is essentially the core of what makes the rebellion successful versus those missions that are probably not. And it's fighting for what you love and not fighting against what you hate, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Luthen is
saving what you love.
fighting to save what you love rather than fighting what you hate or whatever the quote is. But Luthen is clearly in this to attack what he hates. Doesn't care about it's totally separate from any attachment.
Yeah.
And like even Mon Mothma, it's like he's totally unattached other than his assistant.
Yeah.
Seems to be the only one that he feels like I need her.
Mhm.
I need her on my
Clea,
side.
who by the way is
Clea,
one of my favorite
yeah.
characters in the show.
She is
I
great.
really like Clea.
She's great.
because she stands up to him.
She does.
I mean, they're one of my favorite. Not to
Yeah.
interrupt you. One of my favorite moments of either part so far is the shouting match between Luthen and Clea,
Yeah.
and Clea saying, "You said it was okay. I'm drowning.
Yeah.
You're doing," and like
Just
him
let
getting
me.
desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's her basically calling him out
Yeah.
what he did in the first season where he's like,
which was
"You're
all about the
slipping."
Skalden listening device.
Where
Right.
he- yeah. Because in
That
the
was
first
on
season,
there.
he's like, "You're slipping.
He's
We're
like,
getting this out."
Oh yeah, put a listening device on this. She said, "You said it was a good idea." And he even was like,
Yeah.
like I went along with it. I was coerced into
Yeah.
it. Like
He's lashing out because, like
yeah,
you said, he's
the stress
admitting
of everything. They're all
he's
the
drowning.
walls are closing in.
But you contrast that with Cassian, who's like, I'm not just going on these missions to go on missions for the rebellion. Like, I'm doing this to protect the people I love. I'm doing this to stand up for the cause. But the cause is because these people are evil, and we're standing up for what we love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we see in Mon Mothma portrayed as well, when she's like, because I care about him.
Yeah.
And Luthen they're totally showing how he is just continuously going deeper and deeper off of the rails.
I think what's interesting about this on Gorman now, and this is so intricate. On Gorman now, the Dedra and Luthen's goals are the same. It's odd. Their goals are the same.
yeah,
Dedra
yeah,
wants the rebellion to rise up
yeah,
and do something massive.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Luthen wants the rebellion to rise up and do something massive. He's hoping that will happen so that the Empire clashes him down and other people rise up.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they're hoping they rise up so that the Empire can crash them and be justified.
Yes.
But they're
Be
working
justified
on the
and praying that the effect is the opposite.
That's
that
right.
It will scare.
This will shut
people
it all
from
down.
rising.
Cassian thought that was a stupid idea. A
Yeah.
terrible idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
He left. He knew they were getting played.
Yeah,
Luthen doubled down, sent Cinta in, Vel in,
Yep.
and they went ahead with that. And then we saw what happened to Cinta.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
played. They're working on the same.
they
have
are
the same.
hoping for a different
mission.
outcome.
So
With
let's.
a different, but they wanted
So
to
I-
result in something different.
Yeah.
I love that you're talking about this now
You're
because
absolutely right.
It's great.
I love
And
that
they're
you're
absolutely
going
right.
that you're
switching it around.
painting, that you're presenting it this way because this goes to an overall thought. And I'm sure other
Using
people
the
have thought this
tools
as well.
of my enemy against them.
This is
That's
something
what he said.
overall
That's exactly right.
that I think the show, or at least this is how I'm feeling about it, which is great. Luthen is both one of my favorite characters, and also I think we're finding out that he's very wrong about a lot of his
Yeah.
decisions.
Closer to Saul.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's closer to Saul
He's-
than he is to
because-
yeah.
And
Cassian-
and he's becoming closer.
Yeah.
Like gradually becoming more.
And it's
Yeah.
not that I think that there's obviously I think he's on top of a lot of stuff
For sure.
Just even the way he introduced himself to Cassian, he was like introduced as like a ghost. Like he's able to slip in. I mean, the fact that he's still Axis and they don't know who he is just incredible. They know who Cassian is. They
he's
just can't
living
find
right
him.
there.
They're like, we need to find Andor.
Yeah.
They say it all the time, but they don't even know who Axis is.
Yeah.
But with him, he has this conversation with Cassian on the ship. He has the conversation with Cassian on the ship, and like you were just saying, Uncle, Cassian flat out says, no one would care. And he says, the Empire would. And he's like, exactly. He's like, why would we want that?
Yeah.
And he's like, because then they'll retaliate, and
They'll
Gorman
retaliate, and then we'll
Gorman will be wiped out, but we'll all be better for it. And
Gorman
like
will
that
be
he's-
wiped
will
out,
burn-
but those that remain
Yes,
that
those
are
are-
wealthy and rich will hate the Empire even more.
That's it.
It will burn
If
out
I say
brightly.
Gorman wiped out, I mean the Gorman rebellion.
Yeah.
The Gorman front
Right.
will be wiped out. And
But now we'll have the whole rest of the people remaining that are the wealthy that are there
he's like, yeah, a
all
wealthy
in now on
and-
the rebellion
and it'll burn.
helping fund
and that they'll see it
be-
It'll burn
firsthand.
very
It will
brightly.
grow.
That's right. It'll show.
That's Luthen's tactic.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
and we saw it in the first season too. His whole conversation with Saul was, "We're just gonna let him die," and he's like, "We have to."
Yeah.
By
Like,
the way,
it's like we're sacrificing.
I don't think Cassian's there
And
yet.
that's
Interesting.
where Cassian is beginning. Cassian and Mon Mothma. That's where they're beginning to separate themselves. Of like,
What are we doing?
like we're.
what are we
now
gonna have
doing-
left if we do this?
Yeah.
What's
also
it gonna
interesting
be?
timetable canon-wise, because I didn't know the details of the Gorman massacre,
Yeah.
but they flat out reveal it in this
Yeah.
that it was 16 years before
Yeah.
this.
That's right.
Yeah.
And because we were thinking on the show, because I was like, oh, that's the thing that sparks
Yeah.
the. But I guess that was at the start of the Empire, not the start of the rebellion becoming mainstream.
which would have been
Because they talked about Tarkin landing the ship,
That's
as we
right.
talked about,
Which
which is
would've
Tarkin
been-
landing the ship on the people
yeah
in the middle of the
basically
square.
the beginning of the Empire.
Yeah,
was-
basically the beginning
It
of the
was
Empire.
like
but
right as the Empire starts, there's this rise, and he boom does that.
and he's like, "There's no place to land." Okay, boom, and then The one was like the waiter or something. When
Yeah.
Cassian's being
His father was there.
yeah, when Cassian's being the designer.
Yeah.
Um,
Avian Sky.
yes. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
I love that they're giving Diego Luna so much more like just
Yeah.
acting.
Like
He's showing off his
ability.
charm. He's
For
showing
sure.
off his.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
more
no,
range. Yeah.
the Gorman stuff is fascinating. So then,
so we might
is
have
it-
an anniversary. We might have
Yeah.
an anniversary
in the
uprising
exact same spot
to
by
Yeah.
the
I
monument.
think that's what we're gonna have.
it's going to get
I
out of
think that's
hand,
what
and
we're
they're going
gonna
to send
see.
in the troops, and they're
yeah.
going to get what they want.
And how they know and how they named it the Tarkin Massacre.
yeah.
The Tarkin Massacre, and now referencing
For
leading
sure.
up to the New Age Gorman Massacre.
So we had thought, or at least I had thought. I won't speak for everyone, but I had thought watching this episode 6. When we were watching, I thought, okay, I think we're gonna lose someone. I
Mhm.
thought we were gonna get someone that would die as a
Yep.
result of this. So
Yep.
I felt like both
something would go.
Cinta and is it Val?
Val.
Val. We
I
haven't seen
felt
the
that
mission
both
go
of
well
them
yet.
were that because
Around
they
the table.
because they reconnected them this
For
episode.
sure.
I was
Something's
like,
going wrong.
And they were stepping into something Cassian thought was a bad idea.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
this could
The
go
fact
Yeah.
that he's not there,
sideways.
that Karn is
Yeah.
there, and that they were on it, and that he was in contact with Dedra the whole time. They're doing this, that
And
surveillance,
of course, it was friendly fire.
friendly fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
Also, her acting Dedra when they get, or not Dedra,
Val.
Val when they get back to
Yeah.
the ship,
Oh yeah.
and she's just like talking to
her
the guy, and
rage.
like, quit,
Oh.
don't cry. Like, that was fantastic
It was
acting.
amazing.
She was
really
everything
good.
that you dream about, or something.
Yeah,
like
it was a
Amazing.
great kind of like monologue
was.
there.
that.
But yeah, so we knew, or at least I felt like some of this main core was going to start dying, and we didn't get a chance. I think maybe I don't think we got a chance to do one final episode of our podcast before the start of it. But one of the
Right.
things we would have done in the last
Liver
podcast
die?
before would have done a liver
Yeah.
die on some of our main characters.
We can still do that for the
And
remaining.
We can. I think
But-
Cinta and Val, both of them would have been on the. I think that they die.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
yeah.
one of them now. Obviously, Cinta
Yeah.
is gone. We'll get to the Luthen and
I think
obviously
Mon
we know
goes.
we know Saw's fate.
Put Mon Mothma on the table.
We know Saw's fate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then obviously some of the other.
Did you
characters.
all-
Bix
Yeah.
will be interesting, but
when the season started. Well, not when it started, but the second part. Did you see the Cyril twist in there yet, or did you think he was actually being swayed?
I thought I didn't see the twist entirely, but I thought he's placed here, like he's here with this being her mission early on, and I thought, this doesn't sound like he's not acting like himself. He's
Mhm.
not sold out on the Empire right now.
Yeah.
Right.
He's playing a character.
yeah, I thought the entire time that he was still
Yeah.
working with Dedra and working with that he was not legitimately questioning things. But I was
Yeah.
trying, but because they abruptly put you in this, like
Mhm.
as an audience member, they don't give us the first like, hey,
Right.
they don't give us a meeting where like, hey, you go here, and then we're gonna do this, and then you're gonna infiltrate here, and then you're gonna be a part of it.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep up, like, wait, okay, so they're trying to
it's
have
been a
they're trying
year.
to
You're
have
like,
this
wait a
now, like,
second.
what's
Yeah.
happening? Like, I know he's maybe disenfranchised from
And the
kind of
mother
getting
doesn't know,
demoted.
which
He
is
kind of
weird
got
'cause she knows
demoted at the
everything.
end
She's
of
like, you
season
got
1.
demoted.
She
And I
doesn't.
was
She
like,
knows everything.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, oh, I wonder, but I was thinking the fact that he's going back and is having dinner with Dedra. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
still
yeah.
so in on the cause.
Oh yeah.
And she's never
that
been more
point, for sure.
powerful.
Right.
So I had thought that the whole time,
Also, he's just so.
especially because she suggested to Krennic, the way you do this is you have to
The
have
rebellion
people
you
in
can
on the
depend on.
inside
Yeah.
that are willing to do the wrong thing. And so, wink,
Yeah.
wink, my boyfriend's gonna go do it.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's just such a. He's so eerie. It's so weird because he loves that he is finally getting attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though he's playing a character and the way he's speaking to his mom is not the way he was treating her originally. It's like now he's getting attention from now it's like I want to impress Dedra now.
Right.
The shift has changed. Now it's all about fitting in with her, and it's like when he finds out he's being followed, he's like, I'm important enough to be followed.
Yeah.
And when he puts a little wire and people are like tapping in on him, he's like, I'm important enough for people
This
to spy on
matters.
me.
Mhm.
Like it's like he loves that he's like in the action and
Mhm.
people are including him,
Right.
even if it's negative, even if he's being spied on.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so weird that
I love the character.
He thrives and he
Hilarious.
loves
Great
that.
character.
When he says,
even
this
when
is
he
the
says
happiest
this
day
is
of my
the
life.
because he got
What did he
recognized.
say? Is this
Exactly
What
right.
did he say? Is this? Did he say like, is this weird to say, or is this?
Is it weird to say this is the happiest day of
day
my
of my
life?
life. Because
he
he's-
got recognized. by-
He's in the Empire, and they're giving him
Hilarious.
compliments and authority.
They
And
gave him a-
And who I love is Partagaz. He's great. Oh, Dedra. Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
who's the,
Yeah.
did
He's
you
great.
kind of give you the
Once he tell him to
offer to you, then you're
settle
in.
down with his excitement or something.
Yeah, he did.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, he did told him like check your enthusiasm as
enthusiasm.
far as it's an assignment. Check your whatever.
As
Because the guy's
assignment.
like, would be my honor. Oh,
You're
Like,
too
he's like,
excited
chill
about
out.
this.
It's an assignment.
It's
It's
an assignment.
not
Oof.
no great honor.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh man, it is.
Yeah. It's
It's a little bit of a change. Talking to let's switch for a second to Bix.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, do we think Bix and Cassian are actually married at this point? Because they've said my husband a couple times, but I think that's just for
I don't think so.
just
I don't
for
think so. No.
the only reason I say that is a year
Yeah.
has passed. Like
Right.
time has passed.
Yeah.
She has a couple times said my husband, but I'm pretty sure that's just for the.
Character.
I didn't mess with my microphone today.
No, I heard
yeah.
her from an interview say that it's not. It was
Okay.
a tactic she used.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
They
how I
haven't.
was reading it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say no.
The
But
so
man,
she's having a
she
hard
is-
time.
She's struggling.
I
She's struggling.
think so. One of the things I didn't take a lot of notes because once I tried to start by taking a couple notes, and then 1,000 things happened.
Like,
Like the very
nah,
first
just
episode, I was
watch
like,
it.
this is gonna eat up my entire phone storage. No, but one of the couple things I did write down from the first episode of this, I think it was from episode 4, I believe it was. When they're on Coruscant,
Mm-hmm.
and it was either episode 4 or 5. They're on Coruscant. They're in their safe house, like hideout spot. Well, first of all, I was worried about them about her getting spotted, because she had mentioned, and they don't do anything by accident in this show, that she had mentioned we got to do something about these curtains,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we haven't seen them do anything about it, but we've seen other people. They've shown Dedra and go, and then it goes all black, and you can't see anything inside her room.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen other people do that. It might come back to that. It might not. But
they might be spotted after what they just did.
true,
Mhm.
it could be.
Because now they've risen awareness right there on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing. It's not a mission elsewhere. It's
That's
like
why I don't think Luthen was involved. It just feels too close to home. Maybe.
It felt, yeah.
But
I don't
that-
know. He did just steal the thing right under their nose.
They had to do
But, I
that
mean, they
for
had to.
sure. Bix is like so there's the physical toll.
Mm-hmm.
There's the feeling of being
PTSD.
oppression. Bix is an emotional, and it's a lasting. It's never gonna go away.
No, it
What
is-
they did to
yeah.
her is never
No.
gonna go
No.
away.
No.
No matter if she's sitting there with a blaster watching Good Morning Coruscant.
It's just
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Right.
Coruscant morning
Good
show is
Morning
killing
Coruscant.
me.
Half aware.
it's
yeah.
awesome.
Again, I love the world building that Tony Gilroy is doing with all this stuff. The supermarket,
know.
like they go into a grocery store.
It's so great.
There's,
Have you guys
about-
played Outlaws, the video game?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It reminded me of Outlaws.
It did.
The way the
It
buildings
did
are
actually.
shaped and you
It
go
did,
in
and the neon lights.
yeah,
And
pretty
again,
cool.
Cassian, his unease of being like normal. I think it was. I was actually.
Oh yeah,
I was watching.
he can't relax
Star
at
Wars
all.
Explained actually was talking a little bit about this
Yeah,
and their take, but he's like, notice when he's playing a character
Mhm.
and he's playing the guy who's making
that's right.
the fabrics and
Mhm.
stuff, the designer, he has more trust and confidence. But when he's trying to just be normal, it's
Mhm.
like, all right, let's go, Bix. Like someone's.
He has trouble
can't-
sitting
I
around.
can't,
Yeah.
we can't be here for too long. There's eyes on us. It's like, let's go.
She's
hurry
like,
up.
let's go to the
That's
park. I
right.
can't. There's cameras there.
Yeah,
And
he's
she's
like,
it's okay.
when he's
Yeah,
normal, when he was being himself, he can't because he's
And that
She
leads
got,
into a little bit of the in that episode where we start getting a glimpse at Bix's struggles
Yeah.
and her nightmare she's had from Dr. Gorst, but also this nightmare she's having, or this memory that she's having about them killing that soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get to see the actual mission or what happened.
Right.
But we get the conversation between Bix and Cassian, where Cassian said, we had to kill him. You know, he was a soldier of the Empire. We had to kill him. This, and she's like, you didn't kill him because of the war. You killed him because you saw me. And he said, what's the difference? And the difference is, we don't know if she was in danger, or we don't know if the mission was in danger.
Just,
and again, I think he just mentioned
Saw your
Stars
face.
Explained. I think I saw might have been Alex who said this, but I heard someone else say it as well. This gets into a little bit of the Anakin motivation that you got to be careful, that you got to be afraid of. Is if we're just doing things now where we're killing people out of fear of what might happen. Now we start crossing lines that you start
You're
going
too
into
attached.
the other side of.
That's right.
He's so attached.
Well, I killed you because you saw me. Well, we don't know what he would have done. We don't now.
Yeah.
There is an area in there that I think like it's worth talking about, that we need to figure out. Like, okay, what does happen? So I'm not saying that they're 100% making the wrong decision, but if
we don't
he's
know the
acting
details
out
of that.
of just fear of losing Bix,
and
he's just afraid to lose Bix, and if this mission was his idea or Bix's idea, and it was well, to make sure we don't lose Bix, we'll go do this. There might be some backlash that comes out of it, whether it's from Luthen or like friendly fire backlash. Because I do think there's these episodes for sure started feeling like, oh, the end of this series might not be Luthen being killed, or Luthen being killed by the Empire or something, but it could be within factions of Saw, within factions of Cassian, within
we know that with Tay, if someone gets to the point where they're going to be able to blow the lid off of this, or
Tay,
they
it
feel
didn't matter.
unstable, or they feel like
You're
they can't
gone.
be trusted anymore,
You're gone.
he'll kill them.
Yeah.
There's no reason why Bix, Cass, they're not above that.
Yeah.
They're not above that.
No.
If they get to where, I mean, we saw it in the first season, he's going to kill him.
Yes.
So if he's not doing missions,
Yep.
No.
it's
The question-
possible.
The way he was talking with
But the
Clea
question
too
does-
about like the item isn't what we wanted. He was
right.
talking code, and she's like, yeah, but didn't we know that? Like they're already like, yeah, haven't we
Come
already
on.
gotten to this point that we know that this isn't what we're looking for? This isn't what we'd hoped.
Man.
And like it's
Yeah.
and he's not even. He's confronting him.
Yeah.
He shows up to his shop unannounced. That he's like, you're
Very
putting
bad
us in
idea.
jeopardy.
You're
Like
risking it.
now you're not, you're not tying up all the loose ends, or you're not being as careful.
Yeah.
We got
And-
rules for a reason.
And if I have to, I will tie up loose ends to make
Bix
sure
is
this
his,
is out.
Bix pushes him unstable.
Yeah.
And I
And
because-
she
think
resents it a little bit.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
doesn't like the fact that he's constantly demeaning what
Yes.
she can actually do.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not giving her the full credit.
Yeah.
She feels
think-
over sheltered by
Because
him,
he's
that
afraid.
he
It's
won't let her
yeah.
out to do anything
Yeah.
because of that, because he's
Yeah.
afraid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned too with the factions is Luthen, like you said, Uncle Luthen's not above that. And the thing is, Cassian is in they're in deep enough now, they know that.
That's right.
They know Luthen's not above that. So if there's at any point Cassian believes himself or Bix are one of them that are at risk, are they willing to
We
do
know
the same
Cassian's
to,
not
to
above it,
Luthen?
too. Yeah. We know he will. He would.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like, okay, could it be something like that takes place, or is it, because the reason I think about that is Luthen doesn't find himself in danger, ever.
No.
He's not going on missions. He's doing the political side.
He's
of
enough
things.
removed that he doesn't.
He is.
Yeah.
He's pulling the strings, but he's with Mon Mothma within the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, he's with them. He's not really putting himself.
Mhm.
He does sometimes. He's gone out and done missions.
Yeah.
But even in the first season, he goes and meets them. But then he goes, "All right, you guys go do this. I'm
Right.
getting out of here."
Right.
So he's playing the orchestra.
I have artifacts to sell
And-
the Skulden.
So to if he is to go out, if he is to die, I see it hard seeing him actually go out being in a mission where something happens, because we haven't seen him do that. It would be something of the political play spectrum where
comes
someone comes back and finds out, or someone
Hey,
gets
Val
back
is
at them.
not gonna. She's not gonna take this slightly.
No, she is not.
I don't think she's done talking about this.
No.
There
Yeah.
may be.
And because
I mean,
what
it
was the thing before that? She already was upset that, why didn't he tell me? Like, oh, Cinta, you were injured? You were hurt? You had
Yeah.
to recover for a long time?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
didn't Luthen tell me? Like, she
Yeah.
had the same thing that Castian had in this episode of, you saw, wait, I'm sorry, you saw
Saw
Bix?
him and
You came to my house?
Right.
And you didn't tell me? You went and saw,
Yeah.
like the person
you-
who's closest to me in my
Do you
entire
think
world, you didn't
Val
even
would-
do it?
Do you think Vel would be more likely to be angry with Cassian because he wasn't involved and they had to come in and do it, or with Luthen for pushing this
I
forward?
kind of think Luthen, but I, think that
it's
I think she might go to Mothma about it
True.
because
For
Mothma
sure.
Yeah.
Mothma already
her respect for Cassian would go higher because she knew
Yes.
she would go,
Yeah.
oh, he got it.
He
was
saw this was a
right
bad
on the money.
He
idea.
was right.
she
He was right.
she might
Yeah.
exactly.
I
And
agree.
Who,
I think she might go to Mom.
and who
Mom
knows
Mothma.
that? Who
Yeah, she
knows that
will.
she might not even know that to the extent that they wanted Cassian first.
Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think
Luthen's
one
not
thing I know
telling
about
her
yeah,
everything.
Luthen's
Maybe
not an
not.
oversharer. He'll just say, "I got a mission for you. You got to do this." She
Yeah.
won't go, "Where's Cassian?" I think she'll just be like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
But I think that this ties back to Mothma, with Mothma asking about her in this episode, in that
Yep.
episode 6, and then her
Yeah.
being in this. Now her
Well, he's
is,
also putting her in danger and not telling.
well, and
Yeah.
Mom Mothma
and
doesn't
Yeah,
Mothma
well, I care about it.
Mothma had just asked her at the wedding how Cinta was doing,
Yeah.
so she just loses Cinta. Now it makes sense that this would be the time when she
Right.
reconnects with Mothma,
Right.
but also in a way that's not just like, "Hey, I need help," but it's like,
Luthen.
"Hey, Luthen sent us on this thing," and
went
also, did you know that
sideways.
he's doing this? And Mothma's already shown that she's surprised when Luthen shows up places, because she
What are you
she
doing here?
legitimately is like, "What are you
Why are
doing?"
you at
here?"
the
And he's
wedding?
just there, and immediately when he's there, everyone gets on edge, because anyone who knows why he's there
It's like
means,
you're
you're
working.
coming here to
You're on.
tell
you're-
me bad
yeah.
news or send
Yeah.
us on a mission,
Let's
or
take
there's
out
something that's
Tay.
happening here.
Yeah. You're
Send,
here because
send
you're on a
Cinta.
job.
Yes.
Yeah.
But can I also say Tay was a great character?
Yeah.
I really I felt like, first of all, I don't think I've seen that actor in other things, but he looks so familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I know that type of actor. That type of actor feels like he would have been in Mad Men.
Right.
Like, it just it feels like
Yeah.
like an old school throwback gentleman kind of a person.
Yeah.
That's again, if I'm going down the Mad Men road, could have been
Yeah.
an executive of one of these places or something
Yeah.
like
Great.
that. That all of a sudden
He was.
but the Perrin relationship with Mothma is very interesting,
It
because
is actually.
in BBY 4, this is the most direct we've ever heard Perrin talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, flat out accusing her of infidelity and stuff, which
Yeah.
we don't think there has been that, but we think that she clearly is a
that-
friend, and she's playing the part
Yep.
to protect the rebellion.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she can't say to him that, "Oh, I'm doing it because we need his money, because we do this, because
Yeah,
they're
it's-
funding
Right.
this," and because that gets out to
She can't say
Skalden,
there a
that gets
reason.
out to,
Mhm.
and that's the end of it.
Yeah. So instead,
There's
she'd
just-
rather the rumors go around.
Yeah, so it's it's so interesting.
It is.
Uh,
But they also do seem to be connecting though more. Like, I don't know. It's like the first season, it was almost like they were just cold.
Mm-hmm.
Like just they were together, but in passing.
Yeah.
Like in
he
the,
just
in the
loves
ve-
the party.
in the vehicles. In the vehicles, they
thing.
were quiet. Like
Right.
it was just like we're just
Or he
doing
loved
life
the
together, but not
parties,
really.
yeah.
Right.
Now it's like they actually were communicating about the wedding and
For sure.
actually on plan with this
Right.
kind of deal / not deal,
Right.
where he didn't really know the full picture, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like so now they're almost still walking a similar path, and
Yeah.
almost as opposed to crossing each other.
Yep.
But he just doesn't have all the details.
He doesn't.
There's
Yeah.
the mother.
It's,
Zero. Uncle Harlow.
Uncle
Uncle
Harlow.
Harlow says hello.
So great.
Yeah, there's
It's
there's so
just-
many. Just as we're talking as a whole now for these first 2 chunks of episodes, Uncle, you nailed it earlier when you were saying that there's a lot of times, even in movies, which aren't even nearly as long running, there's times, even some of my favorite movies, if I'm rewatching one of my favorite movies on TV. We each get to, a lot of times, with the exception of maybe a few movies, we get to, we go to this kind of part of it, and I'm kind of now like this kind of, I check my phone for a second, or I check, or like I'm not as, and then we get back to, to the main thing that I'm super interested in. In this, every single time they go to Mothma, I'm like, great, give me hours of this. And then they cut to Cassian and Bix. They cut to Cassian and Bix, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. Then they cut to Luthen and Clea. And again, I told you, I think Clea is one of the great characters on this show. Because she started, at first I thought she's kind of like just, she's in the know and she's an assistant. And then the more you see now what she did in this, where she's getting that key out and her hand's bleeding.
Yeah.
And she's actually putting herself out there. Because we haven't seen her do a lot of in plain sight.
Other than going out and meeting
stuff.
with
when
Val.
she met Val, she just had like a hood on and she walked out there.
Yeah, it was part of the thing.
It's been interesting to see more and more of her character and just her kind of standing up to Luthen and not just, she doesn't just do whatever Luthen says.
How about the greatest line? We should have killed Krennic while we were
That
up
was
there.
funny. When they walked out, we should have just killed Krennic, and they both.
We were up there.
Would have been awesome.
That was so good. I love Krennic. Every time we get Krennic,
it's almost like they were so nervous about this plan.
Yeah.
And then when they pull it off, they're like,
they finally relax.
It's like, yeah, we could have done more.
You know
and
what
she's
really
like, here you go.
What I really like about this is, and you can do this in shows like this when you create distance between characters. Like when you see Palpatine, you see Vader, you see him, and then you see somebody less. Well, they just kind of get overshadowed. Like Tarkin was never that terrifying to me.
No, because you had already seen worse.
But now, the biggest bad we've seen is Krennic.
Yeah.
And he carries the weight of someone who is to be feared. Like
even in the debate,
you're scared in that.
People are like,
even in the debate,
sycophant. They're like, yeah. They're agreeing. They're laughing at his stupid jokes. He's like the guy in the meeting.
Yeah.
There's this sense of don't step out of line. He could have us killed.
Yep.
And he is now frightening.
When they're at Skalden's art thing and they're like, they say that he's like, they say you like this particular one. Oh yes. Why? And you're like, and immediately he's just putting you on the spot.
That's right.
And then she freezes for a second, and then what's his name? What's the spy's name?
Young.
Yeah.
Officer Young.
No.
Talking about the Imperial guy.
Yeah, with the mustache, who
red hair. I can't remember
the red-haired guy. That's his name.
I think so.
I can't remember his name.
I thought it was a two-syllable.
I thought it was two.
But you're right. And then he speaks up.
Maybe it's his first name. That's something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that in that moment when he's
that happened, and then it also put Mon Mothma in a different place.
Oh man, I almost have the name. Thank you.
She's just getting to the point where she's not going to hold back anymore. She's just pushing.
Who is this?
Mon Mothma, which is challenging Krennic.
Oh yeah.
On what
Yeah,
openly
in front.
Talking about it's a massacre.
Pushing to pushing.
Yes.
But again, she said that if I cause enough disturbance, then they'll maybe not notice what I'm really doing over here. I can't be quiet. She's not going to pretend to be against, but she's not going to let on what it is.
I can't just fall in line.
Yeah.
But
so what that did then, by making Krennic look like have that feeling, it just put that Tarkin interaction in a different light, and then it put the Vader
in
a different light. How far above, like if Vader were to walk into that room.
If I can watch a show and I just hear the word Emperor, and I'm like, I'm like, it just carries weight just naming him in this. You're like,
it just makes him seem so much greater.
It does. It makes him seem like
even
just dropping the name.
Yeah,
Lonnie.
The Emperor.
Lonnie.
You're right though. It was Lonnie. J-U-N-G. Young. But Lonnie was the name I was trying to think of. But yeah, you were both right. I said Lonnie. Because I remember him thinking, Lonnie.
Yeah, because he calls him Lonnie.
He calls him Lonnie.
Yeah.
And isn't it great? Isn't it awesome how they have nailed the 1970s, far, far away, long time ago look,
the sideburns.
Oh,
it's the 70s for sure.
And the buttons that are meaningless but seem meaningful.
Yep.
Oh, well,
so great.
Nailed
the set pieces are perfectly Empire.
I was gonna say totally like off story.
Sound effects.
The production of everything, but the costume design is incredible. Like even I just want to go pause and break down like the stuff at the party. like everybody, like every time Mon Moth was in a scene, whether she's at the wedding or
Mhm.
something else, it's like every single thing. You're like, this is like a Princess Leia, or Padme, like iconic. They still have them all on display everywhere, like
Yeah.
on the at
It's
Disney
amazing.
and stuff. It's like these are this type of costumes that they're making,
And it's
just
so
good.
decadent. It's just like
It is.
it's a perfect thing because it just looks so like they never have to do any. It's so they're wearing bathrobes all that. It's just
Yes.
flowing robes and
Yeah,
decadent life and just so nothing's tight. Everything's loose and comfortable
Yeah.
and flowing.
except the
Compared to-
Empire, which makes
Empire's tied up.
which makes them, when they're actually at those places in their suits,
That's right.
hold a different weight because you're like, oh, they are tight.
And
They're on
Mon,
duty. They're not.
Mon, even in that setting, I think it's interesting that I think Tony Gilroy, now I realize he thinks on this level, she's choking.
Yeah.
And every scene that she ends or every time she comes on screen, watch. She loosens the neck
Yeah.
and breathes. She'll either unbutton or loosen
Yeah.
or stretch or something because she just feels constricted.
Yeah.
And almost every time she gets in the car,
Yeah.
Paris
she
just
undoes
sitting
it.
there. He's so comfortable in his little.
She immediately undoes
Everything's like. Oh,
Is it-
can't
How
get
about the
out of it, just
or
can't
how about
breathe.
the her reaction, the end of BBY4, the dance,
We need to
music
talk about
Oh my
the dance.
stuff.
gosh.
because I thought that was such a good visual way to show
The
exactly
dance
what
is
she's feeling,
incredible.
which is numbing herself to the reality that she knows that she didn't
friend.
give the order, but she didn't stop what Luthen
Well, she
just
brought him in.
Yeah, and that she didn't stop
kind of
what
her
Luthen.
failure that brought Tay in.
Yep.
That resulted.
That
in this.
results
Yeah.
in Luthen saying, "Well, then now," and she's like, and didn't stop it, and now knows. Well, now this is
I've known
this is
him.
what it's come to
And
now,
I
and this is her legitimately her friend because she
Yeah.
really liked Tay.
I
Yeah.
do believe, and this is probably true of Rogue One. This is true of Episode 4, even though it was more subtle. I believe, under all of it, Mon Mothma is the conscience of the rebellion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The others are do whatever it takes. I think she is the conscience. There's
There's a reason why she
think
is the
she's-
leader of the rebellion, the voice of the rebellion. Because without
That's
her,
right.
they would be no different.
because
They would be.
it like Luthen can do that stuff and just move on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cassian can do that stuff and move on. Bix is struggling
Bix
with
is
it.
struggling with it, but
But Mon
Cassian does-
Mothma literally is like, I didn't want to, even though he is going to blow the whole thing up.
yeah.
Tay is going to blow the whole thing up
Yeah.
and cover it.
And
And
unfortunately,
she did not- still
he
didn't
made
want
it
to.
clear
Yeah.
that it was.
Oh.
He's like,
You're
she's
gonna
like,
have
well,
to-
you wouldn't go to scolding about. I hope I don't have to.
Hope I don't
You're
have-
like, well,
right.
it's saying you're already saying
Right.
that's the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It's
think that
just
she carries the weight of it in the trying to be good.
Yeah.
Trying to do good. I want to do good, not just
Yes.
get freedom. I want to do good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think more than any other character, I think she conveys.
She
You're right.
does.
I think that Luthen thinks a lot of. I'm sure that in some point it
Whatever.
started as we're doing this because ultimately I think this would be good for the galaxy, but now it's turned into us versus them, and we are trying to beat them.
That's right.
We're trying to win,
Yeah.
and she is always thinking, I want to make sure what we're doing is good.
I still think she
It's
wants
still
to do
good.
right.
Still
The
has to be
reason we're even
rooted.
rebelling in the first place is for good.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And Luthen's a little bit more of like, we've drawn the line in the sand.
Yeah.
You're with them or you're with us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're against us, we'll do whatever it takes to beat them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
he says, I use, the forces, whatever, the tactics of
so
my enemy to defeat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's so interesting so Luthen even had that moment in this episode where he suggests like, oh, is Bix become a liability? Like he says to Andor.
Yeah.
That's right.
In episode 6, he's like, unless you've come here to say that you've already decided, like we'll have to decide at what point is that become too much,
Mm-hmm.
or unless you've already made that decision and that's why you're here.
Like,
And he's like, no, that's not
Mm-mm.
what I'm talking about at all.
Yeah.
Like she needs help.
I do find it really
Yeah.
interesting, the whole show, that we've hated the Empire for all this time for what they do, but the individuals on the rebellion's going farther. The individuals have taken more drastic steps than the Empire yet. We know what the Empire is, what they mean.
And we
Yeah.
know they're leading towards
Other
a
than the
Death
few
Star.
at the top, like Dedra, who's like, you need to
Well,
You
and
need to-
you have the
Like,
creepiness of the
serial spying on
agents,
people. He's
of
not
the
killing
lieutenants.
Yeah.
You have the
what I mean?
lieutenants with the assault on Bix.
Yeah, you have those
You have those
one-offs,
guys.
but yeah,
Yeah.
like the average. I mean, Saw. I mean, who
Saw
I
is
don't
now even
that's
like
right.
taking Luthen's guys. Like, you don't get him back. Or you don't get my like. Oh,
Yeah.
you're a pilot.
You're here.
I'll
until
keep you
you're
until
here until
you're
I'm done with you.
You're like, okay.
It
Oh my
reminded me of
gosh.
Tuco a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and me now.
Exactly.
me.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's exactly
You're gonna go to
Tuco.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
One of the things I wanted to ask you guys too, because I'm curious.
Also,
what
this
you
guy
think-
reminds me of Ed Harris. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
He does.
What? Yeah. What? So, the line. Actually, these two when they were talking at the town hall, the meeting,
Mhm.
right? And Karn is there, but at the end, when he actually talks to him and tells him about the Tarkin massacre, do you think there's any bit of that at all
Mm.
that gets to Karn at all, or do you think Karn is just he's so basically psycho, so adamant for his love and love for the Empire that doesn't even pierce his heart at all? Because when that
Yeah.
happened, I thought, I wonder if this will hold any weight at all for him.
Well, let me just throw this out there. We know in the current political climate that those who have an allegiance to one party or another will overlook a lot of
Yeah.
stuff in
Mhm.
favor of that's my guy or that's my girl.
Yeah.
They'll just kind of casually.
Yeah,
Well,
or
that's-
justify it.
that's
else-
justified.
I'll focus on
yeah.
the things I
So I
do
think
like.
he's
yeah.
like, well, they
Yeah.
they had it coming. Why didn't they just do what they were supposed to do?
Totally. Yeah,
Why
I feel like
didn't they
he'll
just-
justify
Yeah.
it.
If they said get out of the way, just get out of the way. If you didn't, it's
Yeah.
your fault. Why are you still
Yeah.
standing there? Obviously, they gave you an order. You disobeyed. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally
I think
see him
he's
being like
probably
that.
in that.
Yeah.
camp.
He could. I just the
Maybe,
reason I thought
maybe
about it
not.
was because it
He
felt
does have a heart.
it
He
felt
does have a
very
conscience.
intentional. It felt like it was something that made you think about it.
Yeah.
Because you think back to the beginning, I think it was intentionally to make you think, will this actually? And then if it doesn't, then you're like,
doesn't.
okay, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
That's it.
But it made me think back to his original character. He's one of those guys that was a slippery slope.
Yeah.
His original character was do order. Cassian's a criminal. Like he
There's no
killed
s-
these guys,
he killed
and
these
he
two
was
guys.
right. He wasn't wrong.
Mhm.
Cassian killed these guys and got away, and he's like, I
There's
want to bring
no
order
other
and justice.
Purpose.
And
Let's
now
get
he
him.
found the Empire, and now he's just totally brainwashed
Mhm.
by the Empire and his love for the Empire. But originally, there was that part of him that it started because we need
Gotta
order.
get-
I'm a
Mhm.
I'm a good
There
cop.
was no black and white. I
Yeah.
mean, there was no gray. It was black and white.
Yeah.
I do
That
wonder
was a little-
too
It
how
just makes me. It seemed very intentional with that dialogue by specifically stating these innocent. He even said 500 innocent protesters.
Yeah.
were smashed by this guy
Mhm.
who he's not saying you, but in his mind he knows I work for the Empire, who you directly work for under Tarkin.
Yeah, right.
Just did this. I wonder if they'll come back to any bit of recognition of whether
Maybe.
that is gonna resonate with him at all, or whether he's just so
Yeah.
I'll do whatever
Maybe.
Dedra
It
tells
could.
me to.
It
I don't
could.
know.
it's interesting. I saw the actress who plays Dedra said that she studied or like looked up and studied female psychopaths for her character.
Really.
If you want to know what she thinks of her character,
The scowl is
which is-
remarkable.
yeah,
She doesn't look like that.
which is interesting.
No.
No, you see her in
No.
interviews and you're like, oh, she's actually really charming and nice.
I know.
It's
But
hilarious.
she's just constantly.
Yeah.
Did you hear Mendelsohn talking about why the Empire speaks in British accents?
No, I don't think I did.
I think he did an interview on that, and they asked him.
Yeah.
He said, well, really two reasons. Number one, everything sounds more evil in a British accent.
It's true.
He said the second one is back then, when they started, all the heavyweight actors were Brits.
That's true. Yeah.
All the big, older,
yeah.
powerful, present actors, they were all Brits.
Makes
He
sense.
said, so when they bring them in, it makes sense.
Which
That's
is
who they got, Tarkin and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
or Cushing.
yep.
Yeah.
Those were the guys, and that's it. That was the precedent. And these young hotshot Americans were the rebels, and it just kind of
Yeah.
stuck.
It does, and I couldn't picture it any other way.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, Alec Guinness had to kind of get around that a little bit,
Yeah.
but,
But it really
Yeah.
it
Right.
works so well. I mean, it's what I think of when
Director Krennic.
yeah, like immediately.
Director
I mean,
Krennic.
now it's just been accepted pretty much that that's what the Imperial or that's what any of these Imperial officers or
Well, it's a
Moffs or
known.
any of
It's
them
a,
are like.
it's a known marketing technique. People, if you speak in a British accent, your believability goes up. It's just
There you
it's a
go.
it's a thing. A British accent is more believable. So combine that with immense power.
There you
go.
Is that
I
more?
never
Is that more
Doctor suits?
convincing than what's the Scottish
Scottish.
dude from season? We gotta get out of here, sir. Sir, it's gonna blow. And I'm like what? And that's when Karn's just sitting there because like they
He was
exploded and
Sir,
Andor.
it's Andor.
I don't know.
His mother. His mother. She passed away. They're
Sergeant,
having a
it was
funeral.
great.
Sir.
If he's coming back, it'll be for that.
I got to go back and watch Cyril's speech
So
again. That was
good.
so
Oh,
cringy.
yeah.
It was awesome.
His speech.
Let's go get him
Let's
now.
go get him. And
Play
they're like,
over
It
his
is.
head.
It like you're saying though. Like
it's like a slow clap.
it doesn't matter if they're evil
It
or
ain't.
they're
It ain't.
in the middle or they're good. All the characters. The characters are played so well.
Mm-hmm.
They're played so well. They're definitely showing. We see Saul in the background. They're definitely leaning into how crazy Saw actually is. And
I want to do a quick poll. Random questions, and we'll say who's most likely. Want to do a quick game?
So
Who's actually the most insane character in the show so far? Is it Saw Gerrera? Is it
or saw
Is
who I call Tech Killer
Tech Killer?
because
Is
he
it-
killed our
is it-
Tech.
is
I'm
it
never gonna forgive
Dedra?
him for that. Is the reason Tech's dead.
Is it Dedra? Is it the understated psychopathic Cyril Karn? Or is it Krennic?
Oh man. What's funny is to me,
Because it's all contained, but
yeah,
Krennic. I
What's-
think Cyril may be a sociopath.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
just saying
I don't
some
think
of those
his
I would
others.
say
is
Dedra's a
different.
sociopath.
his is
I think
different.
I think the craziest is Saul. I think he's the craziest.
yeah. I think he's the craziest.
like just straight up.
I think Krennic has it all together. He just
He's a
believes
sociopath.
something I don't
Saw
believe.
is
Like
the
he's just
most
on a
out
different
there.
side
Yeah.
than I am.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's like we have no idea what Krennic's gonna do. Be careful because he's explosive. He's like no, he's
No,
he's
no,
on
no,
that
no.
team.
Would you call that a sociopath?
He's
No,
calculated.
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
a psychopath is unstable and crazy.
Yeah.
Sociopath is measured, but they're
Yeah.
measured.
that-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Right?
I would say
He's not-
Krennic is.
yeah.
Krennic has a very specific. He has a specific goal of what he's trying to do, and he's
Yeah.
also just Krennic's thing is also because we've seen from Rogue One, is he is like all of them. He has power, but he's trying to get more. Like
Yeah.
or he wants to be recognized by the Emperor. He wants to be
Yes.
recognized by Tarkin more.
right.
Of yeah,
Who's
like
standing
I'm
here?
not just
Yeah.
very high up in the Empire. I should be at the top rung with some of you other guys.
I already should be. Yeah.
And
yeah.
in Project Stardust is the one that's going to finally put me
I
there.
love how
Yeah.
until
on the
Tarkin's
Imperial
like, actually,
side-
that's mine.
they're not really interested in. They're kind of interested in squashing the rebellion, but they're all interested in rising.
Yeah,
That's
they're all
it.
more focused
All
on
of them want to
themselves.
just go up.
Yeah, they all
Choking
just want
on your
more
aspirations.
power.
None
Okay.
of them are like,
Although,
oh yeah, I'll sign. I don't,
We need
except for
to- we
Dedra,
need to
who
bring
says
order.
Dedra
Yeah.
says it, and it's even when you say it, you're like, that's. It's funny because she
right.
said that, and you're like, does anyone buy that? She's like, oh, I don't care how it gets done.
Right.
I just wanted. He's Andor's a murderer. He needs to be caught. And you're like, oh, interesting. You don't want the. And she's like, I don't care who gets the glory. You can have all the glory.
Right.
And the guy's like, people can do that. Like, people
Yeah.
not care about glory. I thought all
Yeah.
we care about is
Right.
I think
glory.
Right.
just going back to your question. I
I didn't throw
Saw,
Luthen in there.
I was gonna say I think Saw is the
I think he's
most
crazy.
is
I
the
think he's
most
just legitimately crazy.
legitimately
straight up
out. Like his
huff and
brain is
paint.
the most out there.
Yeah.
But I do think there are glimpses of Luthen that we are seeing as to quote him, he's drowning. Right.
Yeah. Right.
That we're seeing start to
He's getting
become
desperate.
not more desperate, but I would say more on the unstable side because he's desperate, not necessarily because he's like Saw and like
Yeah.
losing his mind.
Right.
It's more of desperate, lashing out, unstable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we're seeing Luthen is becoming a little bit like that.
Okay. Next one. Who is most likely to die next?
Die next.
Die next. I'll throw some out there. Vel,
Yeah.
Bix, Luthen, Willman, or somebody else. There's others that are more likely to die, probably.
How about that Willman saw a speech? You're right. Yeah, you're ready to fight. And he's like yelling
He's
at the
in.
sky.
Yeah.
Breathing in, he's in.
Yeah,
Breathing in the fuel.
I think he drops dead right after
I was
that.
gonna say, I think he's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die.
After
I think
he
he's gonna
becomes,
die. I don't think he'll die right away because they just teased him almost supposed to be the one dying, and then he didn't
we
die.
have
And the other
6 episodes left.
I think Val
Oh my
might.
goodness.
I just
die.
don't see Luthen going before the end of the
You
show.
think he'll be the last?
I think Luthen will be I don't.
I don't think
actually
Bix makes it either.
I think Bix will be before Luthen, and then that could actually play a role into how Luthen dies.
Man, I don't want it to happen.
I think it could be.
Okay. All right. Bix, really? I'm going to go with...
the only reason I
Yeah.
say that about Bix, there's definitely
It
there's,
leads. If it really
there's
leads,
definitely some, not just like we're working together. There's definitely romantic connection between Cassian and Jin,
right.
and
So that's been...
so this feels like this is.
that would be only 4 years. 3
I would
years.
feel like maybe Bix is actually coming soon,
Right.
because this leads right up to Rogue One, and he has this connection to Bix. I kind of can't see it happening at the very end of this show.
Would have
and
to
then Rogue
be-
One starts, and it's like a few months
That
later. Or
that does
something.
make
Yeah.
it interesting because
Yeah.
the fourth set leads up to...
leads up
Leads
to
up
It's
to
the year
Rogue One.
leading up to...
leads up to.
That's why I think
All right.
Bix.
But I'm like, does Cassian move on that fast? From
I think
from-
maybe.
maybe this.
Yeah, I think.
Man.
I think Bix. I think Bix could be
Oh, man.
next.
All right.
I think she
Brasso
got.
already
and I
done.
think that's I
Tim
think
with 2
this-
M's was
yeah,
done.
we
real
have to
quick from
remember-
season
Yeah, that
one.
didn't happen.
We have to remember that even though
What was
this
his
is
name?
this is
Skeen?
the beginning of the rebellion, what we're seeing played out, at least so far, is tragedy.
It is.
Like, we're seeing the rise of the rebellion, which is like the overlying hope of what we know is to come, but that is the hope. The hope is what comes later.
right.
What we're seeing play out now has all been tragedy. Of like, it's all portraying the cost of what
Mhm.
made the hope in the first place. And so we're living through the cost of what everybody had to sacrifice to
Yeah.
get to the hope. Or to not to
That's
get
a
they
new,
have
that's,
hope now.
That's
but
the
it's,
new hope. That
it's to
comes on
get
f-
to-
4. It's the new hope.
it's to get to what is actually
Mhm.
successful.
Yeah.
We're portraying the tragedy that took place. And so I think having these characters like Bix and them go, it's supposed to portray and see the kind of downfall of their emotion. And like Cassian even says in Rogue One of like, I've been in this, like you
Right.
don't know basically what I've had to do and
What I've
we've
had to
li-
sacrifice,
what we've lived
what I've
through.
lost, what we've done.
Yeah,
Remind me, is B2
Man.
Emo dead? Or have we not seen him?
we haven't seen him. He was with.
I'm trying to think of where is he last. time we
He was
saw him.
on
'Cause he
the.
was on the
he was on
planet,
the
right?
farm.
And they
he was
all
on the
left.
farm
We
with
just haven't
Brasso.
seen.
He was charging.
Yeah. So we
He was
just haven't
charging
seen
in
him
the
since
house.
there.
Well,
We know
Brasso's-
K2SO is coming. We almost
True.
forgot about that.
Brasso's
'cause
wife
we're
was
halfway through the
legal,
season
True.
now.
right? We go. Brasso's wife was legal,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so B's
B2
with her.
Yeah, B's
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just done with B.
No,
Yeah.
it can't
Or maybe
be.
we come back to that.
We got
can't be.
we got K2SO coming.
K2S. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming in this next chunk probably.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot. There's so much, but I'm loving
Man,
it so far. Can't wait for the next
we've
one.
got so characters. Let's just go real quick. We don't have to say live or die, but just think this is in the pool of people
Die.
that we don't see. Die, die,
I
die.
can if I want.
Yeah, this is the pool of characters that we
Die.
for sure don't see in Rogue One. Now we know from watching Star Wars Rebels and A New Hope
that doesn't
They
mean
don't
that
have
it
to
doesn't
die.
mean that every single Jedi.
they all got.
That doesn't mean that-
Listen, Bix
yeah.
is going off on space whales.
Listen,
we all
She's
know it.
off to Purgatory.
Not Filoni has nothing to do with this.
Purgatory.
Filoni has nothing to do with this show, but Filoni has shown you not only can other Jedi be alive, I can send them to a different galaxy
That's right.
to have them
Yeah.
not be involved.
Yeah.
Ahsoka can be on Mortis or Galaxy number 2,
That's right.
and
Or
that's why
between
she's
worlds.
not. That's why she's not
She was
helping
doing
with
stuff.
the rebellion.
Right.
Yeah.
Or she's helping with the rebellion, but she's not helping during A New Hope. But Clea,
Clay.
Luthen. Obviously, we know what happens to Saul. We know it. We know Mon Mothma. We don't know about Perrin, but he's also just Her husband. That might just end with just a divorce. Or
I think it's fine. Parent
Or-
can continue.
I have a feeling that Clea and Luthen will go out together.
I feel like they both might get
I think they might get.
Luthen's
blown
too
up
big to
by somebody.
not be involved. I mean,
yeah.
he wasn't involved because he wasn't
no,
made
he's
up
too
yet.
big in the political.
But he wouldn't. He
to
would have
not
to go.
be in. Yeah,
I still think Luthen may go at Cassian's hand.
I think that's possible.
We'll see. I think Bix probably.
But to do
Has
that,
to
that
go.
kind of would have to be with maybe like I want to say with almost like the go of Mon Mothma, because we know that Cassian is well respected by Mon Mothma in Rogue One.
That's right.
He's not like, oh, you're the guy who
Can't do
murdered
this
Luthen.
without
You can't
going
just go
out.
murder Luthen
And then still be in the
and
rebellion.
be in the rebellion and like a respected
fine.
officer or do
if
whatever.
that happens, it would
That
be.
would be like, because in Rogue
Yeah.
One, they are having the conversation when it starts of
He's in.
we have to do something about Saw. For all we know, they just did something about Luthen.
That's right.
Because we don't, I mean, they're showing, and this is Mon Mothma now being fully on board with, you have to go kill Saw.
Now they
She's
have
gone
to.
past, she is now like,
She's
you
in.
have to kill Saw. She's not going to tell Jin that right away because Jin's like, wait, why do you want to
Yeah.
know about that?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Also, we're not going to, we also need to locate your father. Well, yeah, we're also going to kill him too.
We'll
Like,
get rid of that.
Mon's on board with it now at that point. She
She's
wasn't
in.
like, oh, I don't think we should do it, at least what
Yeah.
they show us.
Yeah.
So, for all we know, they just did the same thing to Luthen, or it starts,
think
or
Luthen-
Luthen does the same, or Luthen tries to go at
Luthen
them.
may try to do
and it ends
something
up-
that Mon Mothma it just crosses a line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone she knows or someone, and
Val.
could be.
maybe they
He
just
sends
kill.
something.
Val
to-
could be it could be the
if he
deal breaker
sends
for her.
something, if he sends Val to her death,
Something
or
happens.
honestly, if she's there and this Gorman massacre happens and she's in it,
Mm-hmm.
that might be getting back to Mon.
I think
And-
it could
and
launch
he
it in.
sent- and Luthen directly sent her there.
Yeah.
I think it could be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I just hope that there's an
I don't think Val
added scene.
makes it out.
No, I don't think so either.
Mm-mm.
I feel like
Yeah.
those soldiers, just similar to the ones that were in his heist crew in season 1. It feels like
Yes.
just about all of them. Any of them that are in the field that much doing the missions are going to die. Like it just now the Luthen Clea more back. I still feel like they're probably going to die, but that's not like I don't think it's like they get caught by the Empire and get killed. That feels
Right.
more like a political infighting thing
Yeah.
that maybe ends up blowing
Mhm.
up in their face or something. But
Yeah.
I hope that there's an added scene. They said this leads right to Rogue One, and I hope that it's someone saying, "Saw, just so you know, the day will come when you've crossed the line and or when you finally pay for crossing the line, and it's not even what you think. It's for killing Tech
That's right.
because you blew up that place with the rail car, and we loved Bad Batch. I
That's
hope that they say
why.
that we loved Bad Batch.
For Tech.
Sleep with one eye open. You come here to sleep with both eyes open. Bogalit,
What's that even mean?
Bogalit, my
squid Yeah.
friend. Bogalit.
Hey, but you guys have any problem with
Wait, you said who is the craziest? Probably the one who has an octopus friend who reads minds,
who,
who makes
Who
people
follow
go
your
crazy.
brain. Right, I
Is-
think he's
is
the craziest.
easily the
He
craziest.
is insane.
Bogalit.
Who's walking?
Did you
around
guys
with a
have any
gas
problem with
tank?
Benjamin Bratt? I had no problem with that.
No,
I used to confuse
Not
them
at
in
all.
real life anyway.
No.
I
think
had. I was always
I
like,
did. I was like, is that Benjamin Bratt? No, that's no.
Is that
Okay.
Bale?
In real life, in other roles.
Yeah.
It's like,
I had
Hey,
no problem with it at
awesome.
all. It was a small thing. Obviously, it's one of those things that I love Jimmy Smits.
No.
yeah.
So, like, would I have loved to see Jimmy Smits? Yeah, it'd be great.
Sure.
But obviously, they explained in some of the articles that came out like it was scheduling stuff couldn't
Yeah, they can.
make it work.
It's a nice
but-
way of saying, hey, I got TV stuff. I'm not showing up for 2 lines.
Yeah.
Give me more than
Yeah.
that, and I'll come. If you want me to do something, I'll
Yeah.
do something. I'm
I was
doing
gonna say
that.
it's not like they had
No,
a
I'm just
whole
kidding.
Benjamin Bratt episode either.
Right.
It was like we had a passing. He had a moment.
Most
and it
people-
was-
Which I don't know. He might be in it more.
If you're not deep in, they wouldn't
Might be.
even notice.
He might be in it more.
I think he'll
after.
be fine.
But I think it's possible he'll be in
He's
more
good.
of the next
I thought it was
few
great.
episodes.
yeah.
But I think I mean, would I like to seen the other way around?
I still
But
don't like that
that's
they
okay.
recast this Anakin character with Hayden Christensen. Give me Sebastian Shaw.
I know. What's
I
going
want him
on
to
with
be-
that?
I know.
Dig up his body and make him play young Anakin. I hate this recasting stuff. He is the original Anakin who was. They took the helmet off.
Fake,
They took the helmet off, and
And they-
Anakin's
what?
supposed to be like 40, and he's 65,
What is
70
going
years old at
on?
least.
At
At
least.
least.
And then you're like that because
That
that's
can't
back when
be.
that was, that's back when you fought in the Clone War. Like it felt like that was ages ago.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that would
60
be
years
like
ago.
that would be like me right
Right.
now in
No.
2025
Right.
being like, oh yeah, I remember that basketball tournament I played in 2006.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was 19 years ago.
What
Yeah, of
is
course
he
I do.
looking
Yeah.
I remember very well. Like, but
So
for
you're
them, it was
saying
like
still
you were
recovering.
around during
She's
that
saying
time.
that things, a movie, TV shows that have made across
Yeah.
45 years don't actually all fit together perfectly.
I think that
And we should hold it against every single one because
that's
they
exactly
don't
what
dare
I'm
they.
fit
saying is.
like
How
perfect puzzle pieces.
Are
dare
you
they.
not thinking ahead, George, when you write that? You're not thinking, one of these days,
You didn't think you'd make Andor season
40
2?
years from now when I sell this franchise, I hope that the, hope the
Coming
next
up on
people can.
50 years
fill
of
in the-
Star Wars. The first
Yeah,
50
that's
years.
crazy.
Which, by the way,
May 4th
The-
coming up.
the
All the anniversaries are coming up.
and the movie stuff. Did we?
That's right.
Did we do? I don't even remember because it's been a while since we podcasted. Because we texted.
They did.
Did we even talk? And then it has to be the next podcast.
Did you
maybe,
guys see
but
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I remember.
theater?
Oh,
In
it was a
theater?
while, but no, I didn't go to the theater.
2000? I want to say
was
5.
great.
You did. You went and saw it.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
great.
it's big. It's a block, but it was kind of a big thing.
I
It's the
heard.
biggest
It makes-
re-release of all time.
Made some
It's
money.
made a lot of money in the theaters.
Biggest
It was no
re-release.
Minecraft.
It was
At
no
least not this
Minecraft.
time around. But
Were they
Huge.
saying Anakin jockey, or just
I don't think so.
chicken,
chicken, chicken.
Well,
Lava chicken.
there you have it. Lots of lots of Andor. We know this was a little bit longer. We wanted to get through.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had 6 episodes to get through.
There's still a lot we didn't talk
but
about. We
yeah,
have
there's
to cut it
so
off.
much to the show. It's so deep. The dialogue, everything, so intentional, and that's why we love it. It's so great.
Give me Ben Mendelsohn
Um,
all day, every day.
but
Love
yeah,
Ben Mendelsohn.
we'll be continuing to cover
The Ben
more
Mendelsohn
Andor.
Day.
So stay tuned. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the notification bell. We're excited to continue the Andor breakdowns.
We'll be back.
Let us know your favorite parts. Let us know your predictions. Like we were predicting who might go, who might stay. What do you think's gonna happen? Drop it in the comments. We'll catch you guys next time. And as always, may the Force be with you. And happy May 4th soon.
Happy May
Happy Star Wars Day.
4th.
May the Force be with you.
to choke on your aspirations.
I'm drowning. I'm drowning.
Don't choke.
I am drowning.
I'm choking. I can't breathe.
I want to have Luthen, and I want to have Kylo, and I want to have Tom Hardy's Bane, all in
Oh,
a circle,
man.
just mumbling at each other, and everyone's like, "What?" What are you saying?
Awesome. That's the Saturday Night Live skit.
And then, oh yeah, what would it be?